The Taliban is taking over the reins of power in Afghanistan after a failed peace deal negotiated by the US. But have you ever wondered how the Taliban is so well funded that they don't just survive but thrive? Are you amazed that 20 years of US onslaught has done little to deplete the Taliban's pockets? In fact, the Taliban has grown richer and more powerful since their fundamentalist Islamic regime was toppled in 2001. Well, here's a look at how they have managed to do that despite being tied down for about 2 decades. Afghanistan accounted for approximately 84% of global opium production according to the United Nations World Drug Report 2020. This made it the largest exporter of opium in the world, and it was the Taliban's primary source of funding. Much of these illicit drug profits go to the Taliban, which manages opium in areas under their control. The Taliban makes money by imposing a 10% tax on every stage in the drug production chain. Those taxed include the local farmers who cultivate poppy, which is the main ingredient in opium, the labs that convert it into a drug, and the traders who smuggle the final product out of the country. The UN has reported that Taliban likely earned more than $400 million between 2018 and 2019 from drug trade alone. A May 2021 US Special Inspector General for Afghanistan report estimated that Taliban derived up to 60% of their annual revenue through illicit narcotics. If you are wondering why Afghan farmers undertake to cultivate poppy despite being taxed by the Taliban, here's the answer. They weigh several factors like annual precipitation and the price of wheat. Droughts and wheat shortages, when wheat prices rocket, have pushed farmers into growing poppy and extracting opium that is refined into morphine and heroin. Poppy cultivation is viewed as the most economical and the best alternative to wheat for farmers. The last 4 years have seen some of Afghanistan's highest levels of opium production. Even as the COVID-19 pandemic raged, poppy cultivation soared unabated at 37% last year. The United States spent more than $8 billion over 15 years to deprive the Taliban of their profits from Afghanistan's opium and heroin trade. They carried out poppy eradication, conducted air attacks and raids on suspected labs, and encouraged alternative crop programs. However, in hindsight, that strategy was simply a failure. Mining is another major source of income for the Taliban. Mining iron ore, marble, copper, gold, zinc and other metals and rare earth minerals is a lucrative business in Afghanistan. Similar to taxing farmers, the Taliban charges fees from both small-scale mineral extraction operators and large-scale mining companies to allow them to run their business smoothly in the country. The Taliban forces them to pay up and has even issued death threats in the past when stakeholders resisted to pay. According to the Taliban Stones and Mines Commission, it earns $400 million a year from mining. However, NATO estimates put that figure slightly higher at $464 million. Taliban's other sources for funding include real estates owned by it in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and few other unknown countries. Sources quoted by the NATO's confidential report puts the Taliban's annual real estate revenue at around $80 million. The US and other international bodies have accused Russia, Iran, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia of funding the Taliban with as much as $500 million annually. However, there are no confirmed details on this income stream or the amount that comes through it. The Taliban's overall income sources, as revealed in a confidential report commissioned by the NATO, was put at an alarming $1.6 billion for the fiscal year that ended in March 2020. According to the United Nations Security Council report, the Taliban imports and exports several everyday consumer goods through its business affiliates. Noorzai Brothers Limited is a multinational company which deals with auto parts, and it is also one such known affiliate. The Taliban is believed to have raked in a net income of about $240 million a year from such exports. This figure includes the export of poppy and looted minerals. The Taliban also makes money through extortion and taxes. People and industries in regions under their control are taxed and even issued official receipts of tax payment. Even drivers and shopkeepers are forced to pay taxes for using highways and running their businesses. They also impose a traditional Islamic form of taxation called Ashur, which is a 10% tax on a farmer's harvest, and Zakat, a 2.5% wealth tax. The Taliban earn about $160 million annually through this. The Taliban also receives covert financial contributions from private donors and international institutions across the globe. Majority of these donors are based in Pakistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Persian Gulf countries and are known to have been sympathetic towards their religious insurgency. The Afghanistan Center for Research and Policy Studies estimates such donations at about $150 to $200 million per year. These donors are on the US Treasury Department's list of groups that finance terrorism, but not much has been done to curb such donations. The widespread economic and humanitarian crisis that is now rapidly emerging in Afghanistan is likely to push more Afghans into being dependent on narcotics trade as an easy means of survival. The Taliban is likely to increase its dependency on drug money. Indian anti-drug law enforcement agencies are already bracing for a rise in drug trafficking. Unless there is coordinated international effort, the Taliban will give the world a high. A federal report.